sincere, I think, was what that was trying to convey. He apologized to New York fans and his teammates and coaches and the organization and what have you. But he didn't really say what he was sorry for. He just kind of gave you one of those, well, I'm sorry my actions made everything so bad for everyone kind of apologies. But, there's going to be people out there who are going to take it. He is or not, and we'll just have to see if he can play ball anymore. He's 38, 50, who knows how old he is. Somewhere in his upper 30s. I think he's 39. But he's old, and he hasn't played in 2 years, so we don't even know if he can still play. To me, that's all that really matters with A-Rod right now, and he should worry less about apologies and more about trips to the batting cage. And, oh yeah, there is one other, I find, element to this story. This 2-letter apology on the exact same day that Anthony Bosch, the guy who hooked A-Rod up with all the steroids he used, Bosch gets A-Rod steroids. A-Rod uses Bosch goes to prison for 4 years. A-Rod has to handwrite apology stuff. Boy, that's justice for you, I tell you. But anyway, that's about all the baseball talk we got. I will be looking to have some special guests here on from time to time on Balls Deep Sports Talk. So keep a lookout for that. Whenever we got something big coming up, like the start of the baseball season or hockey playoffs, things of that nature, we may bring in a special guest from time to time. However, no special guest this week, just me. All right, next quick. So that's what we got for baseball talk tonight. Let's move on to our next quickie. Let's do hockey, huh? NHL? We got any hockey fans out there? No, me personally, I do not follow hockey very closely. I got no problem with hockey. I think hockey's a great sport. I just don't follow it very closely. Just my personal preference. But living here in the land of hockey, in Minnesota, as they call it, I know plenty of hockey fans. So we'll touch on some hockey here every once in a while. Tonight it'll usually be in the quickie section. But maybe come playoff time or Stanley Cup Finals time, we can devote a little more time to it. For all you Minnesota listeners, you're wild. Boy, they got 60. Yeah, they got 60-some points. They're in contention for a playoff spot. They're not in the playoffs right now, but they're in contention. They got a chance. But Western Conference actually seems pretty wide open once you get past the first 4 or 5 teams. You got the Nashville Predators with in the Western Conference, and then you got once you get past those top 4 teams, it levels out quite a bit. Where just about everybody else is going to run through those last couple of months. Mike, he is one of the biggest hockey fans I know. They're garbage. Well, I'm going to be giving him some grief here coming up. But anyway, let's see. And then over in the pretty much 7 or 8 playoff teams are already determined here. But the seeding, they're all really close, points-wise. So the seeding is going to be interesting and fun to watch if you're in the hockey in the Eastern Conference, as well as of the battle for that 8th and final spot. But that's what the hockey that we'll talk for tonight, and maybe we'll talk some more hockey later next week if you want me to. And I don't know where the Eastern accent came from. I apologize. All right. 2 quickies down. Let's see how many more quickies we can get in. golf, PGA, well, Tiger Woods is still out, so no golf to talk about pretty much as far as everybody's concerned. It's amazing. I've never known a professional sport, individual or team related, that relied so much on one person for popularity. Amazing. But yeah, Tiger's out, and when he comes back, we'll let you know. So that's golf. Let's move on to, oh boy, geez. Might as well throw some NASCAR in here real quick, huh? Geez, any racing fans? I'm not, but, hey, some people dig it. If it's your cup of tea, the racing news is Daytona's coming up this Sunday. And we'll see who wins that. A lot of eyes will be on Jeff Gordon because he came out and announced that this will be his last full-time year of racing. He is retiring from full-time racing. Now, I would just like to know exactly what that means as far as when he will race. They'll race Daytona next year, or what will he race in the future? I guess is the question there. But so yeah, a lot of eyes will be on Gordon, and Daytona is their kind of NASCAR Super Bowl. Starts off their season, very similar to PGA and the Masters in golf. I know both have season-long points and tournaments at the end and stuff to determine a season champion. But let's face it, tournament is the biggest thing in golf. And until the media starts paying more attention and treating those two sports as season-ending champions with more reverence and respect and magnifying the accomplishment and really treating it the way they treat these other ones, nobody's going to care. And they're not going to take them seriously, and we're still just going to go look back and see who won the Masters that year and who won Daytona that year. So there's a little NASCAR PGA parallel going on there, huh? All right, let's see. How many more things? UFC. Oh, yeah, let's talk some UFC. I love UFC. Near as much as I would like to because of the pay-per-view format or the big fights and whatnot. But I find it very entertaining and the sport fascinating. Now, Anderson Silva had recently beat, it was either Nick or Nate Diaz. I can't remember which one. Starts with an N. Mr. Diaz. Big main event at their last event, UFC 5,722 or whatever that was by now. I really think it was like 190 something like that. But anyway, Anderson Silva, the Spider, beat Diaz. Silva is regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time in his sport, if not the greatest, pound for pound. And now it's been revealed that he failed his post-match drug test. Failed one before the match, too, like a week or two or so, something like that, before they fought the match. And it's steroids, of all things. It's not an illegal street drug or anything like that. It's roids. He's juicing. That's an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Silva's reputation. In UFC's credit, they have come out and immediately implemented that starting July 1st already this year. All the fighters on the entire roster will be submitted to random drug testing year-round. It will be much more, strict. Wow. Very, very, very proactive and very assertive and very right stance, in my opinion, on Dana White and the UFC's part. Could you imagine if Dana White ran the NFL, or if Roger Goodell ran the UFC? Heck, Silva would they'd have probably just lost the test samples or something. I don't know. No, Goodell ain't quite that bad, but anyway, Mr. Goodell, take note as to how Dana White runs his organization when it comes to personal conduct policy violations and rules. All right, just a reminder, you're listening to Balls Deep Sports Talk here on Northern Lights Radio at WNLMradio.com. I'm your host, Scotty Ball. We got just about 5 minutes. Balls Deep Thought of the day, or at least that's what I'm going to call the final segment for this first week. Again, if you have any suggestions on maybe segment names or topics to talk about, what I'm doing wrong and need to be doing better, please email the show at bdsports@wnlmradio.com or find us on the Book of Faces. Go Facebook. We're on there. Friend us, like us, stay in contact. Let me know how to make this show your show. Of North Carolina, former head coach. Rest in peace, Dean Smith. We're all going to be doing brackets here soon anyway, so now is the perfect time to start studying up on those. Watch a couple teams, watch some games, find out what players, what teams, what coaches you like. There's a great UNC Duke game coming up tonight. That should be awesome. Recommend watching that. And Kentucky is a beast. They're undefeated, 26-0 for the first time in school history. Watch out for them. But deep thought of the day. Now, in this final segment, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and give you guys something to think about that's provocative. There's no right or wrong answer type of thing. Simply curious as to what your take is on it, and not even sure maybe what my own is. I don't know. But, anyway, here's what it is for tonight. On Tiger Woods as well. Now, I have noticed, and hopefully a lot of us have, that these guys' lives, their stories, their careers over the last couple years have really taken a huge nosedive. Both of them were at the pinnacles of success in their field of sports. Tiger was going for the best golfer of all time. A-Rod was going for the best hitter of all time. Both were all-time great level competitors going for that number one spot. And then the wheels fell off for both of them. With Tiger, really kind of started with his ex-wife and that whole debacle. You could probably pinpoint it to some injuries too, maybe that predate that, but we'll start it there, and then for this argument, and then with A-Rod, the steroid thing, that hit, and it just boom, he's out of a job and can't play anymore, and is a terrible guy and whatnot. So my deep thought for you is this. This is what I'd like you to ponder. What I'd like you to put some deep thought into. If you had to suffer through one of these two individuals fall from grace, whose would you rather suffer through? Or whose would you least rather suffer through? And why? Because they've both fallen extremely far. And both of them appear on the surface that they'll never get back anywhere near the levels of performance and excellence that they became accustomed to for the first parts of their careers. But now, as both of their careers reach the twilight years, they're shells of themselves. And both of them, the thing I find most interesting about the connection is both of them, it seemed to really be springboarded by scandal of some kind. Again, like I said, Tiger Woods with the mistresses and his ex-wife, A-Rod with the steroids. Public images took hits big time for both of these guys. Lost tons of money on endorsement deals, you name it. Just public opinion in general on them went down, took big hits. And then the lack of accomplishment in their sports. I mean, neither one of them has accomplished anything in their respect. Like, A-Rod hasn't played in over 2 years, and Mr. Tiger Woods.